point out that the sun shines down its power to all the world and makes the wind blow strong as it will. I wonder how gentle rains can fall upon the land, so lovely earth can stay lovely still. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 545th edition of Energy Week with George Harvey and the amazing Invisible Man, also known as Tom Fennell.
545 is a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. If I had not counted them, I would have forgotten long ago.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't count them, by the way. I have a computer count them. I just hope it counts them right.
They will make mistakes.
Yeah. Okay, for anybody who doesn't know, Energy Week is a news aggregation show in which we go out and find news about energy and climate change and a few other things that are related. And we
related, yeah, but it's basically energy and climate change.
Yeah, and
which are very closely related, actually.
They are, and we put that together and do about 3 items per day.
Yep.
And so, for a week's show coverage, we have 21 items. We're recording today on Thursday, the 19th of October. And so we started last Thursday, the 12th of October, and we're doing up until yesterday.
Yep.
For anybody who wants to read the articles that we're talking about, you can go to my blog, which is called geoharvey.com, Geoharvey, or scroll down. If you have the ability to scroll down, most people probably do, and you'll find places on the right-hand side down a little bit. You should find a site that you can go to that is just the specific news items that we're talking about. Go to the date, regardless of whether you're at geoharvey.com or at the site below. And then at geoharvey.com, you're going to have to find it among 15 articles. But if you have gone to the site that Tom and I use for setting the show up, everything that we talk about is there. So you ready to go, Tom?
I think so.
Okay.
Stop me if it doesn't work.
What?
Stop me if it doesn't work.
Stop you if it doesn't work.
If we're not able to do what we want to do, say something.
I will definitely do that. We're starting out with a picture of sunflowers and wind turbines.
Looks like a lot of wind turbines.
A lot of sunflowers. There's more sunflowers than wind turbines. Okay, this item is from Renews.
And it says, and I quote, EU renewables generation hits a new high in the third quarter.
Yeah, power generation from renewable sources hit a new high in the third quarter of 2023, according to a report from energy data analyst NAPSIS. Renewable power generation in the quarter increased by 12% compared to the third quarter of 2022, the highest growth rate for any third quarter so far. Now, the growth rate is going to continue year to year. It's just going to continue because they're putting in new wind turbines all over Europe, out at sea. And last year, because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they just put in a lot of wind turbines, and they're still doing that.
And they're putting in a lot of solar, too.
They're adding a lot of solar, yeah, and that's
happening.
happening.
It's getting cheaper every time you turn around.
Yes, it is. That is called Wright's Law, by the way. It's a law of economics. If you have a new technology, the more you put it out, the cheaper it gets.
Yep.
Okay.
We've talked about Wright's Law on a show, I think.
Yeah, we've talked about it a couple of times. Now we've got a picture of a steel-making apparatus.
That's what it looks like.
I think that is open hearth. You know, I don't know enough about steel making. I know that there's a bunch of ways to do it, and
and they all take energy.
They all take energy, right? Anyway, this particular article comes from Clean Technica.
Only one industry can't survive without fossil fuels, and you're going to tell us which one it is.
I guess I am. Responding to questions from a commodity and energy trader, the author examines various industries that are thought of as hard to decarbonize. He evaluates fertilizers, steel, and industrial heat. His conclusion is that there is only one industry that cannot be decarbonized. And
What is it?
That's fossil fuels. What can I say?
You've already said it.
I've already said it. Okay, let's go on.
Let's move on. We got a picture of a school bus.
A school bus. Yeah, that is
It says it's an electric school bus. You couldn't prove it by me.
well, the bus actually says Proterra right on the side, if you look carefully, right under the windows and back.
Aha.
And Proterra only makes electric buses, so it's got to be an electric bus, even though it's got a grill. Clean Technica had this one too, as a matter of fact.
I got it as from Clean Technica.
Yeah.
The state of electric school bus adoption in the United States.
In the United States, electric school bus adoption continues to expand. As of June 2023, there were 2,277 electric school buses that are operating, delivered, or on order. There are 5,982 committed electric school buses in total, an increase of over 3,200 buses since June of 2022, the release of the WRI's dataset, and I'm sorry to say I don't know what WRI is. However, I do have a couple of comments on this. One of them is, why are there so many committed electric school buses? And it's a good deal more than, well, it's 3,200. It's actually 3,700 school buses, more than the ones that are operating, delivered, or on order. So there's 3,700 school buses here that are not operating, not delivered, not on order, but they are committed. So what does committed mean? I believe it means that the school districts have said that they are going to order them. They just haven't actually.
They plan to order them.
They plan to order them. That's right. They are committed to ordering them. And one other thing that I want to mention, which is that 2 years ago, this is only 2 years ago, Bloomberg did an inventory of American electric buses, and they were able to find something less than 700. I don't remember how many, but it was more than 600 less than 700.
And it's going to continue to change.
Oh, yeah. And about 4 months after that, the city of Bogota, Colombia, ordered 702. So the city ordered 702 buses, more buses than there were out in the United States. One city in Latin America.
One city.
One city. And why was the one city so confident that it would order 702 buses? Because it had had the experience of running 700 buses. That one city already had more buses, more electric buses, than the entire country of the United States.
Well, this is a very good application for an electric bus.
Oh, it's absolutely right. It's a perfect application as an electric vehicle. And what is going on there that the rest of the world is so far ahead of the United States? Because it is. The thing is, about half of the buses, more than half of the buses ordered worldwide are electric now. And the United States held back on electric buses.
Well, electric buses, this is an ideal application for an electric bus.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I mean, they sit there next to the school all day long. What are they doing? Recharging.
Yeah, yeah. Well, why did the United States hold back? And what was the effect? Well, the effect was that the entire electric bus sector was just taken over by China.
No kidding.
Yeah, they make 95% of it.
They swept into the vacuum, didn't they?
They did. And why did the United States not get involved?
Politics.
Yeah, politics. Yeah. Okay, we are up to Friday, October 13th, aren't we?
Well, it looks like.
And we have a picture of a square in Stockholm, and I would bet that that picture was taken on a summer morning at about 4 o'clock.
I was going to say very early because you can see where the sun is highlighted in the tops of the buildings.
Yeah, and there's nobody on the street except I can see one guy. Just one. Do you know where he is, Tom?
No, I don't.
Well, if you look at that red building that's almost in the middle and you go down the front on the left side of that, right down at the bottom, there's a guy standing there. And you can't see him easily because
you can't.
He's wearing black. So what can you say? But you can see his feet against the pavement, and you can see his head, and what looks like it's probably his right hand and something he's holding in his left. Not much there. Anyway.
You know, the end of a canal at Bergen, Norway looks exactly like that.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Just exactly.
You've been there.
These buildings were built during and by the Hanseatic League.
You know, the Hanseatic League still exists. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. I mean, only technically it exists. There's a few cities that never dropped out of it, and so they're still around. Anyway, this is from ABC News. They mention that, by the way, when they have a chance to. What do you have for a title?
Stockholm to ban gasoline and diesel cars from downtown commercial areas in 2025. Now, that's coming up pretty quick.
It is. A ban on gasoline and diesel-fueled cars from a commercial district of Stockholm's downtown in 2025.
Doesn't say permits, it says a ban.
Yeah. And this will be the first for a European capital, according to an official. The ban will take effect in a 20-block area of shops, pedestrian walkways, and a few homes. Okay?
This is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a sign of things to come. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one. This is something I'm going to talk about a little bit. And we have a picture, comparative areas of land, and an article from Clean Technica. And what do you have for title?
Rural solar opponents about to face tsunami of PV.
Yeah. An organized movement against rural solar development has been rising across the United States, partly fueled by fossil energy stakeholders. They're going to lose money if we go to solar, so they're riling people up to protest it. Now,
stranded assets.
That's stranded assets. Now, solar developers are pushing back with a powerful alliance of conservationists, tribal groups, agricultural stakeholders, utilities, and more. And what I want to point out here is you see that piece of type that's up at the top there. It says surface area required for solar development by 2050, about 0.5% of the U.S. surface area. So they're saying by 2050, we have to develop about 0.5% of the U.S. surface area, and the line there points down to the little box that's checkered. And that solar development, you know, you can compare to the various things here. And obviously, urban areas and paved roadways, 5%, which is about 10 times as big. And then to the right of it is contaminated areas. It's about 80% of that size. So we could get 80% of our solar development by developing in contaminated areas, land areas that are suitable for solar, if we could do that. But look at that huge area of agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
It's 43% of the contiguous U.S. surface area. Now,
and agriculture is not competitive to solar.
No, it's not, because you can put solar up on agricultural.
Bingo.
But
we're going to talk about that, I think, in a little while.
Yeah, we will. But here's the thing. If we converted 100% to solar, so that all of our all of our energy came from solar, that would mean that about 1.5% of the US surface area would be solar. And that 1.5% would be 3 times the size, that little checkered box. But I figured something out. And the thing that I figured out is if we did that, we would take 3% of our agricultural land out of production.
I don't think that's hard to do.
No, it's not. And you know why? It would just happen, very likely. And the reason I say that is because 1.5% of our land being dedicated to solar would be enough to power us. 3% of...
That doesn't sound like a heck of a lot of land.
No, it doesn't. 3% of our land in this country is devoted to agricultural growing one crop, which is corn for methane. And we wouldn't need any corn for methane. So,
as Clinton would have said, it's the economics, stupid.
yeah, that's right. So, you know, there it is. It could be taken out of production. And then I looked into this to find out what you could do with 3% of our land, and I figured out that you could build 15 pathways from the northern part of the United States to the southern part of the United States that would be completely covered with pollinators and milkweed, so that the butterflies could migrate easily.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, we should go on, I'm sure.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Yes, we have
Funny picture here of a Tesla car.
a Tesla Model 3, no less. And we have, for that, another article from Clean Technica.
Tesla Model 3 and Model 7.
No,
now
Y.
cost less.
Model 3 and Model
Y. Yes,
Y.
it is. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Tesla Model 3 and Model Y now cost less than gasoline-powered equivalent. How about that?
Yeah, they cost too much. I got news for you. The gasoline-powered equivalents cost too much. But that is not an excuse. For years, we've been hearing the old refrain about how EVs like Teslas cost so much more than cars powered by gasoline engines that only wealthy people can afford them. Many had the attitude, call me when EVs are affordable. Now, the call has arrived. The time for the call has arrived. No,
EVs are affordable.
yeah, electric vehicles. And we're not
They
talking
make an
about...
awful lot of sense.
They do. We're not talking about cheap EVs from China here that cost $8,000 and are designed to be sold in China or India, where the laws are different than they are in the United States, and you know they don't care about people insurance and things like that, and crash tests. These are Teslas, and you know, what can you say? Okay,
Let's move on.
let's move on. I love this picture.
Looks kind of swampy there, doesn't it?
It sure does. That is
Solar panels on a rice paddy.
yeah. Now, who'd have thought?
EU can meet its 2030 solar power target with agrivoltaics alone.
Ha!
Now that's interesting.
This is from a publication called Balkan Green Energy News, and I actually
Well,
use...
for what it's worth, agrivoltaics combines agriculture and photovoltaics.
Yes, that's right. And here we're seeing solar panels over a rice paddy. Combining agriculture and photovoltaics as agrivoltaics is just on just 1% of the agriculture area used in the European Union could bring 944 gigawatts of peak capacity online by 2030.
Well, gigawatts is bigawatts, baby.
And this is 944 of them.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And 2030 is not that far away. This is according to data from the overview of the potential and challenges of agrophotovoltaics in the European Union, which, by the way, was commissioned by the by the European Union.
Well, agri-photovoltaics makes an awful lot of sense.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. And
Two streams of income.
Yeah, and I was blown away when I found out that putting photovoltaics over tomatoes, in one case they ran a test, Fraunhofer, which is
Yeah, they got more tomatoes.
they got more than twice as much tomatoes.
And they got more tomatoes too.
Yeah. So why would you not do that? Well, I can tell you why. I can tell you why a farming organization might not do that, and that is that they're big agriculture, and they can't quite figure out how to hire people instead of buying machines.
That's interesting.
Don't you think that might be true?
It could be.
Yeah,
What?
and I have read that something like 35% or 40% of the people in this country, if you put it to them, would rather work outdoors raising crops, than in whatever jobs they've got.
Oh, it's more pleasant, really.
Yeah.
A lot more
Okay.
pleasant to work outdoor raising crops than it is to be working in a factory.
Yeah. Okay, we are up to an article from Colorado Newsline. And let me put this up. I saw that and I thought, that can't be a photograph. That's got to be
Well, it's not Vermont.
It's not Vermont. No, but I just said that can't be a photograph. Nothing looks like that in reality. No, sorry. And then I looked at it and I thought, yeah, that's got to be a photograph. I mean, it looked to me like somebody had been a real stickler about painting in detail, but the colors just seem like they're not possible. Anyway, what do you have for a title?
Colorado clean energy employment rises to 64,000, more than double fossil fuel jobs.
Yeah, Colorado's fast-growing clean energy sector today employs more than twice as many workers statewide as the fossil fuel industry, according
That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? According to the Clean Jobs Colorado report, the report is released annually by Clean Energy Business Group, E2. Now, part of the reason why it's twice as big is because there's a lot of jobs for people who are actually installing electric generation that is solar or wind.
Good paying jobs.
They're
too.
good paying jobs, yeah, and wind technicians, these are good paying jobs. They're not cheap like the jobs, In the old days, every place had people employed pumping gas in gas stations, but they don't do that anymore. I think they might in New Jersey. I mean,
Why is that?
the last time I was in New Jersey, there was no self-serve gasoline. It was against the law.
Is that so?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. They're very reluctant to change that. Okay. We have an article now from Clean Technica, and this is on Saturday, October 14th. This particular the picture is a picture of the Winthrop Center, and
That's that building in the front?
it's a building in the front, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of in the center of the picture.
Yeah, right.
Tall building with a lot of white windows.
A lot of windows.
What do you have for a title?
Winthrop Center in Boston named the world's largest passive house.
This is astonishing to me. I thought, how in the world did they do that? Millennium Partners, working with MIT, produced the world's largest building ever to meet the Passive House Network standard. The 53-story Winthrop Center also meets LEED Platinum standards set by the U.S. Green Building Council and has been WELL Gold certified. I want to tell you, the Passive House standard is not easy. I mean, to meet the Passive House standard, you have to list the sources of everything in the building.
Uh-huh.
So if you have a wooden floor, you have to tell where the wood was grown.
No kidding.
No kidding. And if it was grown in Massachusetts for Winthrop Center, or maybe southern New Hampshire, or some place like that, that's one thing. But if you're importing this stuff from the Pacific Northwest, or God forbid from Kenya,
Louisiana.
yeah, you're going to lose points big time because it's so far away. And they're going to look at the species, and they're going to look at, obviously the transportation. Same thing if you've got rocks in there. If you've got granite boulders, they'd better come from some place that is almost local. If you've got marble, it's going to have to come from some place that is almost local. And you can't say, well, it's Italian marble, it's special marble. No, can't do that, because that would be too far. So, we're up to Sunday, October 15th, and we have a picture, and you don't have a caption on this. I discovered just as I was setting up for the show that I had forgotten to put the caption on this particular page.
They're wind turbines.
They are wind turbines, and the rest, it just says, the caption is wind turbines, and then it says Charles Cook, flicker, CC by 2.0, cropped. And this is from an organization called Cherwell, Cherwell, and I don't know anything about them. I think this is the first time I've taken an article from that site. So what do you?
It's about England.
Yeah.
And solar and wind energy could fulfill energy demand tenfold,
yep,
according to an Oxford study.
Yep. Oxford's Smith School of Enterprise and the Environment unveiled research indicating that wind and solar power could not only meet but vastly surpass the UK's energy demands, providing a compelling pathway toward a greener and more sustainable future. I'm going to put this, I didn't put the picture up for people to see. So, this is the thing that we're going to. And if you look at those turbines that are closest to the photographer, you can see that they have little doors at the bottom.
Yeah, well, they do. There's people going up there. They
have to climb up. They do it inside.
There's a lot of stuff up there.
Yeah, and it has to be tended.
I was just going to say that. They got to get up there.
Yep. Okay, should we go on, or do you have more to say about that?
No, I don't. I'm a little bit confused here because my next thing coming up is a picture of a pump jack.
Yes, that's right.
That's the right thing?
That's the right thing.
Okay.
You got it.
Oxford's Smith School of Enterprise.
No. You're on the wrong one. We just did that. The pump jack is with U.S. oil production hits all-time high.
Ah, so let me. I'll fix that later.
Okay.
So this comes from NBC's 5, Dallas-Fort Worth. It's a television station.
Yeah.
U.S. oil production hits all-time high, conflicting with efforts to cut heat-trapping pollution.
Yeah. U.S. oil production hit an all-time high last week, contrasting with efforts to reduce carbon emissions by the Biden administration and world leaders. It also conflicts with Republican claims that Biden is making, quote, war on American energy, end quote. This is infuriating. The claim that Biden is making war on American energy is infuriating. I want to tell you why, okay?
Yeah.
When Donald Trump took office, there were a little bit more than 50,000 coal miners in the United States. And he was the guy who said Trump digs coal. And the Republicans had been accusing Obama of making war on coal. Remember that? When Donald Trump left office, there were a little bit more than 40,000 coal miners in the United States. 20% of the miners had lost their job. I don't think that's something that would delight coal miners about Donald Trump, but that's what happened. There were two coal indices kept by Dow Jones, and the one which was called the Coal Mining Dow Jones Coal Mining Index had its greatest decline under Donald Trump. It had never declined under any president before in terms of percentages.
You can't really blame that on Trump, though.
Oh, yes, you can.
You
The
think
reason why coal suffered under Trump was because Trump was really pushing hard on fracking. And fracking created gas that competed with coal.
Okay.
So the coal burning power plants that didn't close down and go to solar or wind closed down or got converted to natural gas.
Okay.
So that's why the coal miners lost their jobs. The only reason why coal miners still have jobs in the United States is because of the residue of the coal mines after Donald Trump's support for natural gas and the fact that Joe Biden has been making sure that the miners had the ability to ship coal overseas.
That's
now,
interesting.
It happens that in the time since Joe Biden took office, the number of coal mining jobs in the United States has increased to 55,000.
That doesn't make sense.
They're shipping the coal overseas.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with it. Sure.
It's not what I would like to see. I'd like to see those coal miners employed at really good jobs, putting up wind turbines and solar panels and things like that. They might not pay as well as coal, though. Anyway, this Republican attack on Joe Biden for doing this, and I've got reasons not to like Joe Biden all that much. I'm kind of conservative, but I don't dislike Joe Biden all that much either. And I think we have to be running the United States as a constitutionally led government. That we have to have people who are devoted to the Constitution, or we're not going to ever make America great again.
Well, it's still a business. It's got to pay for itself some way or another.
Absolutely. Okay, we should go on, Tom. Shouldn't we? Okay. What?
I think so. Got a funny looking picture here. You're going to have to explain what it is.
Well, this is Melbourne Renewable Energy Hub battery, which hasn't been built.
That picture is a battery.
That picture is a battery. It's a little bit bigger than a D cell.
Flashlight, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the article is from Renew Economy. So
Australia's biggest battery wins federal environmental approval.
Yeah, Australia's biggest battery, a 2,400 megawatt hour facility, 25 kilometers from Melbourne's central business district, won environmental approval from the federal Labor government. The 1,200 megawatt battery. Now, I want to point out, it's a 1,200 megawatt battery that has 2,400 megawatt hours of energy in it. And what that means is it will deliver 1,200 megawatts to the grid for 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
Or, if you want, it could deliver 600 megawatts to the grid for 4 hours, or
4 hours, right.
1 megawatt to the grid for 2,400 hours. So that's why you have megawatts and megawatt hours, as you know, Tom. The 12.
That's 1.2 megawatts is
It's
1,200 megawatts is 1.2 gigawatts.
That's right. It's
gigawatts is always bigawatts.
That's right. 1,200 megawatts is approximately double the size of the output of the Vermont Yankee nuclear power plant. This battery,
it is that when it was running.
Yeah, it is the Melbourne Renewable Energy Hub, and it was proposed by Equus Australia. Now, I'm going to put up the next item. This is a really interesting picture, don't you think?
Well, it's hard to figure out from looking at the picture what it even is.
That's right. That's why it's so interesting. We're up to Monday, October 16th, and this is from Renews, and you have a title.
I do.
Yeah,
Darwin 5 platform set sail for Europe. So that's the Darwin 5 platform.
that's what it is.
on.
And it looks to me like it's got those sea legs that you can crank down to put it on the bottom and lift it out of the water.
It probably does.
The platform for the 900 megawatt Dolwin 5 offshore converter, and that's what the platform is for. They're going to put a converter on it.
So it converts DC to AC?
Yeah, has left Seatrium's shipyard in Singapore and is expected to arrive at the Isle Bell shipyard in Norway.
That's a long trip.
That's a long trip. Mighty Servant 1 will sail around 13,000 nautical miles, and a nautical mile is about 20% bigger than a regular mile, around the Cape of Good Hope, and is expected to arrive in December. You know, I know it's going to sound peculiar, Tom, but I'd almost like to be on that thing for the trip, just to watch the water go by. Okay, I'm going to go to the next
Very
item.
relaxing, couldn't it?
What?
It could be very relaxing.
I think it probably could. I wonder if they'd let you fish off that thing while you were in the ocean.
As long as you gave them the fish.
Ah, okay. Okay, our next item is from PV Magazine, and we have a picture here. What's that?
It is that. It's a boundary power generating system.
That's what it is. What do you have for a title for the article?
Australian startup develops PV hydrogen standalone power system.
Yeah, boundary
What
power.
does they mean there?
Well, let's talk about it. Boundary Power, a union of West Australian utility Horizon Power and Victorian electrical engineering company Amp Control. And Victorian doesn't refer to the Queen directly. It is the place. This is in
State of Victoria.
It's in the state of Victoria. They launched a standalone power system that uses solar power and a renewable hydrogen hydride battery to store and generate electricity as needed. Now, do you know what hydrogen hydride is, Tom?
Water.
No. No, it's not water.
No, it's just hydrogen.
It's just hydrogen, but the thing that makes it different, that makes it hydrogen hydride instead of hydrogen, is the fact that instead of being, hydrogen is the H2 molecule, and hydrogen hydride is the H3 ion. So they're able to make this.
Supercharged water.
What?
It's like supercharged water.
Sort of, except there's no oxygen involved.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to continue. Now we have a crazy picture of a truck. And this is from
when you
Clean
look
Tech
at
Again.
it, it figures out what it is, but it doesn't. When you look at it quickly, it's kind of confusing.
It's pretty confusing. A lot of that is because there's things that are the same color that aren't the same thing.
What it says is, and I quote, fuel cell trucks will win big in a new $7 billion U.S. hydrogen plant.
Yep.
Land.
Yep. Zero emission fuel cell trucks are big winners in the new clean energy.
Zero emissions.
Yeah. They're big winners in the new Clean Energy Hydrogen Hubs competition, a $7 billion DOE program aimed at ramping up United States hydrogen production. About 90% of hydrogen produced in the United States comes from natural gas, and the program intends to cut costs of green sources. Green source for hydrogen, by the way, is water. And you split it. If you split it, the water, using renewable energy for the fuel, then you've got green hydrogen.
Okay.
And they want to have green hydrogen available. Hydrogen is extremely useful for a lot of different things.
Well, it's just getting around to the place in time where they can store it.
Yeah. Okay, we're up to Tuesday, October 17th, and we have a picture of Oscilla Power's wave conversion unit. Let me get that up. And it is with an article from Clean Technica.
New wave energy devices to suck clean kilowatts from the seven seas.
Yeah. Well, this is Tina Casey, who likes to be somewhat colorful in her wording. Building a better mousetrap could catch attention, but if that is out of reach, the next best thing is to build a better wave energy converter. So if you can't come up with a better mousetrap, just build a better wave energy converter.
So this is not tidally driven, it's driven by the wave action.
That's right. Most of the activity is still taking place and this is most of the business activity, in the experiment and demonstration phase, but the United States Navy is one of those cheering hard. So the Navy wants these things.
Well, they're buying energy for their ships. If they could generate it themselves, they're saving money.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, you remember we just looked at that picture of that truck?
Yeah.
Well, here is a C that goes with it.
Here is the C that goes with it?
The C that goes with that blue truck.
Oh.
Now, you were a sailor, weren't you?
Yeah.
And have you ever seen the ocean look that color?
No.
Okay.
I did see the ocean when it was totally calm, though.
Yeah.
That was scary because
I bet it was.
Hell.
Okay. This is from the BBC. That picture, I looked at that and I thought, okay, either somebody altered the color using a computer to make that blue bluer, or somebody dumped a whole lot of blue dye in the ocean. This is from the BBC. What do you have for title?
Offshore wind turbines. Oh, the title is Scotland's biggest offshore wind farm at full power.
Yeah, the biggest offshore wind power off Scotland, and there's a lot of them off Scotland, has become operating at full capacity. Sea Green off the Angus coast can generate enough electricity to power 2/3 of all Scotland's households.
Just this one wind farm.
This is one wind farm. The $3 billion project, comprising 114 giant turbines, has been more than a decade in the making. So this is big, a big project.
I guess it is.
Yeah, big project. Okay, I'm going to go on if you don't mind.
Why not?
Why not?
Picture of some barges.
Yeah, we have a picture of barges. Let me put that picture up so people can see it. Those are barges waiting to go into a lock on the Mississippi River. And I should point out, that picture was taken at a time when the river was not low. Okay?
Okay.
This story is from ABC News.
Record low water levels recorded along the Mississippi River during prime season to ship grain.
That's a problem.
That's not good.
Yeah. Anybody who has read Mark Twain has seen is likely to have seen his discussion of the amount of coal, I think it was, that he was talking about, that you could put on a train versus the amount of coal that you could put on a barge. And he just lambasted railroad transportation. Okay, let me read the synopsis.
It makes sense if you're living on the Mississippi River.
That's right. Mississippi River water levels reached record lows from Missouri to Arkansas, preventing shipments of grain and other goods from making their way downriver during one of the busiest times of the year, according to the National Weather Service data. And that's not good. And that grain has got to go down there, and so
yeah, if it's too shallow to go, it's just sitting there, right?
That's right, and
that's money.
That's money. That's right. And the problem, of course, is there's a very bad drought in the lower Mississippi area right now.
Right now.
Right
yeah.
now. and the low mark on the Mississippi River is 6 feet below the average level. So if it's 6 feet below average, that's considered low. And right now it's 12.5 feet below average.
Wow.
So, you know,
High up.
a lot of these barges just can't move.
Yeah.
Okay, our next piece, let's see where we are here. We're up to Wednesday, October 18th. Yeah, our next piece,
Yes.
we have a picture of solar panels from underneath them. and an article from Science Daily.
World may have crossed solar power tipping point.
Yeah, I have to laugh. The world may have crossed a tipping point. Tipping point here is in quotes, to make solar power our main source of energy.
That's interesting.
A study based on data, a data-based model of technology and economics finds that solar PVs are likely to become the dominant power source before 2050, even without any supporting climate policies.
Well, you don't have to pay for the sun.
Yeah. And that means the stranded assets. What?
You don't have to buy fuel.
That's right. And that means that the stranded assets, which the fossil fuel companies are fighting so hard to avoid losing, are going to be lost. And they might as well sit down, think hard, and come up with a new business plan. And that's
a good point. And you know, I'm sure they've done so, but for political reasons, it's not happening.
I wonder, have they really done so? Because a business plan, I would think, would tell them, you're going to be in serious trouble if you keep trying to sell whatever it is you're trying to sell. The coal industry, you know, the coal under Donald Trump took office, what, in 2017?
Something like that.
In 2020, as I said earlier, there were 2 coal Dow Jones coal indices. The main one, which is the Dow Jones coal, which was called DJUSCL. I think that's what it was. That index hit its low under Donald Trump, lowest point. And it started to go up a little bit, but then it just ceased to exist.
It's the economics, stupid.
Yeah, and that was, as I said earlier, I blame that on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The other one, and I forget the name of the other one, is still in existence, and it looks like it's pretty high. But it went to its lowest level under Donald Trump, and then immediately started to recover the moment the election happened and Joe Biden was elected.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? So, you know, don't get fooled into giving somebody credit that he takes for himself. He shouldn't have it. Okay, our next item I guess we should go along, shouldn't we?
Well, we got a picture of smog in Bangkok.
Smog in Bangkok. And can you tell me how you know that it's smog in Bangkok?
Because the sign says it's smog in Bangkok.
That's the only reason. I wouldn't have guessed what city that was ever. You know, there's too many cities, and Bangkok is not high on the list in my mind. This is from the BBC.
Why clean air is a luxury that many can't afford.
In the past, indoor air pollution killed many people. Indoor air pollution was caused by things like unvented wood fires being used for cooking. And
burning fossil fuels.
Yeah, and this is in an unvented situation. So the fire was just making smoke that filled the house. In the past, indoor air pollution killed many people, but modern forms of air pollution caused by burning fossil fuels in industry increasingly claim lives. it is estimated that 4.5 million people died prematurely as a result of outdoor air pollution in 2019. 1.6 million more than died from outdoor air pollution in the year 2000. This is an area.
Outdoor air pollution.
Outdoor air pollution, which is what comes out of your truck, your car exhaust, your truck exhaust.
Right.
The natural gas powered or coal powered power plants. Pollution that comes from factories. All kinds of things. There's a lot of pollution out there. And
we got to stop burning things.
We have to stop burning things, and we have to stop treating the rivers and the lakes and the air like it's a place that you can dump stuff, and it gets carried away. And as a matter of fact, I saw in the news today, a number of states, fossil fuel companies, and utilities are fighting. They've actually brought to the Supreme Court a suit, an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, looking for blocking what is called the Joe Biden's Good Neighbor Plan, which is a plan under which states would not be able to put out amounts of air pollution that just wafts into the next state over. And this was actually not something that was brought about by Joe Biden. It was something that was brought about earlier, I think under Obama, and then it was blocked by Trump, basically by executive order. And they don't think about the fact, I mean, the people who are promoting this business of we should be allowed to pollute the environment, they don't think about the fact that pollution kills. At least they don't think it's important. Let me put it that way.
Well, when you're pointing one finger at somebody, you're pointing three fingers back at you.
Yeah, I suppose. I keep bringing this up. I've seen estimates of the number of people in Vermont who die because of air pollution, and it's somewhere between.
There's not a lot of air pollution in Vermont.
No, but it's 250 to 300 and some people per year, so it's not quite as many as one person per day. But if you think about, here I've lived in Vermont for 20 years. Before that, I lived across the river for a long time. I lived in Illinois, other places, but England, but I've lived almost 20 years in Brattleboro. And I'm aware of people around me, and I'm aware of what's going on in Vermont. And in Vermont, air pollution kills people. And if you think about 250 to 300 people per year, and you multiply that times 20 years, and then divide that into the population of Vermont, and start thinking about the math, most people in Vermont, probably who are adults, probably have known somebody who died because of air pollution in Vermont. Now,
that's an interesting thing.
Now, clearly, our state doesn't have air pollution the way some states do. I wouldn't say Vermont is more polluted than New Jersey, for example. But
I wouldn't either.
Right. But, that doesn't mean that we should find the amount of pollution we had in this state acceptable. So,
that's true. We shouldn't find any pollution acceptable, really.
Really, yeah. So let's go on. We've got one more article. We have a picture here of Chicago.
Looks like Chicago to me.
Yeah, it even says Chicago on the sign.
Signs on the side of the building says Chicago.
That's right. When I lived in Illinois, we were about 35 miles west of Chicago. That was a time when steam engines, fueled with coal, took commuters into Chicago.
What are you talking about?
When I was a little kid, living in 3 different towns, actually 2 towns and a city.
And steam engines then, huh?
They had steam engines taking commuters into Chicago. This was like 1951, 52, 53.
Okay.
And it was, I think, 1953 that the Chicago City Board decided they were banning steam engines. I actually saw a train that was pulled by 2 locomotives, both steam engines, that was just pulling something like 78, 76 dead steam engines out to someplace where they were going to be scrapped, probably.
Wow, what a sight.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
incredible. Okay, so we have this picture of Chicago, and the article is from Clean Technica, and you have a title, so we should tell people what it is.
Clean cars yield $178 billion in benefits for Illinois.
Yeah. Illinois has a big opportunity. Now, this 178 billion is not yielded yet, but Illinois has an opportunity to get it. Illinois has a big opportunity to provide significant air quality, health, and economic benefits to its residents by adopting the Advanced Clean Cars 2 standard. The cumulative net social benefits may reach 168.8 billion to 178 billion by 2050, depending on how the standard is adopted.
Wow.
So they're making an argument that Illinois should adopt this standard and that the people in Illinois would be better off. I got news for you. With the exception of a few people who would suffer economically because their stranded assets are lost, almost everybody would benefit a lot if we just stop burning things, by which I mean fossil fuels.
Things containing carbon.
Things containing carbon. Yeah, we can burn hydrogen if we want. I don't think that's going to cause any mischief.
It gives you more water.
It gives you more water. And so we're at the end of the show, Tom.
We got some notes about the show, and I'll read them.
No. You don't have to read those. Those are notes that I put up for stuff. You don't have to do that.
Well, this is a good paragraph.
Okay.
The only industry that can't survive without fossil fuels is fossil fuels.
Yep. And then?
Stockholm is banning fossil fuel burning cars.
Right.
Stockholm is. We could get all of our electricity from 10 million acres of PVs, but
Right.
we use 30 million acres just to grow corn for ethanol. That doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't. Okay. It's time for your cat to wave. Is your cat waving?
No, I don't know where my cat is. He's hiding somewhere.
Okay. He always does that whenever this show comes up, doesn't he? I think he's
He must know it's coming on.
I think he's scared of the camera. I think he's camera shy. But
Could
you and
be.
I can wave, Tom. So I will wave, and Tom is waving, and Tom's cat is hiding in the closet. And Tom, tell everybody what you tell everybody every week.
You ought to come back and see us now, you hear?
Yeah, and what I'm telling you is our last slide says have a wonderfully carefree week. And that is exactly what I mean.